Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile Radio.
What's going on, guys? It's Tia Elise, and I am on location once again at the ever popular original hip hop shop. And I'm here for the meet and greet with Mr. Eric Nolan of the Mighty Mighty OJs. And so, how are you?
I'm excellent. I'm having a ball right now. You know what I mean?
Well, we got you in mad rotation. You know, I do a show called The B-Side, and we definitely have you in mad rotation. So I see that you have a long register of work. So can you just tell me, like, how you got started? Because you're from the same place my husband is from.
Well,
Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Well, actually, I just always loved music since I was 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up listening to the OJs, the Temptations, the Whispers.
Right.
And I just always loved it. I didn't never think that I would be in the OJs. I was putting together a singing group to take the place of the OJs.
I hear you.
In case they, when they got old.
Mm-hmm.
But the cats don't get old. I don't know what's in their food, man. They won't go away.
Absolutely. Music you guys make is timeless.
Yes, ma'am.
It is timeless. But I did my research, and you have some excellent cuts, grown and sexy. I'd really love to ask you, just, with the current state of music, and when we talk about R&B and soul music in the current day, what do you think is missing from our music now, and how does your music fill that void?
What I feel is missing is the research of music. You know what I mean? I think we don't go back far enough to see exactly where that came from. See, R&B, when they called it rhythm and blues, it's because the music was more bluesy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Than soulful. So and we all know with blues, it's more real. It's about real emotions and real life situations. Mm-hmm. So I think sometimes that even with the young people, I think their research is the Backstreet Boys or New Edition or something. You know what I mean?
Right,
that's not to take nothing away from New Edition, because New Edition, when they came out, they did their research. You know what I mean?
Right.
They went
Absolutely.
back. The Temptations and the Whispers and the Delphonics and all of that. They did their research.
Right.
But I just think that we're missing, the part of the history of the music. I also think that we need to learn how to focus more on what's going to bring us together than to pull us apart.
Absolutely.
And I think that when you degrade women and you degrade families and you focus on rims and chains and all of that, stuff that, and not to be over the top with it, but stuff that white people want us to focus on, so we don't focus on the education of, the business and the music. I think that's where the art get lost.
Absolutely.
So if you have real life situations, I mean, even if they're family situations, I think that if you put it out there, I think people would gravitate to it. Cause see, we gravitate to beats.
Yes.
We gravitate to good music. So if you notice that when music comes on, we always doing our head like this, and we like the music before we like the words.
Absolutely.
So now then we listen to the hook, and then when we listen to the hook, now we want to hear, well, what is he talking about?
Exactly.
So if you're talking about something, you already captured them. You don't have to degrade women. You don't have to talk about, what you want to do to them and how you want to do it to them and all this kind of mess. You don't have to do that, because when I was coming up, I only knew about love. I only knew about, people singing about love. And that's why they called them love songs.
Exactly.
They didn't call them slow songs. They called them love songs. And that's my genre. That's my era. Mm-hmm. Where that's how I came up. And so I don't know anything else. I mean, because I'm not comfortable with anything else. I have a daughter. I have daughters. Okay. But I'm a father figure to 11 kids. Okay. And I have one biological daughter. And they're gonna, at some point, they're gonna look up to me, and they're gonna say, "Daddy, what was you talking about? Why did you sing that?" Right. So I'm very conscious about it.
Okay, and you could tell it shows your comfort level in everything that I saw from you. I love your rendition of Anita Baker.
Yeah, man.
What made you decide that song? How did it all come together? Because you did an excellent job on it.
Well, one, because I'm a huge fan of Anita Baker's and that song, but actually I'm an even bigger fan of Will Downing.
Okay.
So what happened was when Will Downing did Inseparable, if you listen to the song, when Will Downing did Inseparable, I took the beats per minute and the pulse from Inseparable and put it, and I mean, if you line the both songs up together, they would just mix perfectly because I did it on purpose.
Okay.
Because I like that pulse that Will Downing had in the song. You Bring Me Joy said everything that I wanted to say to a female, and I felt like it was cool. You know what I mean? I felt like we didn't, as guys, we didn't lose cool points. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't soft if we just said somebody brought us joy. You know what I'm saying?
Trust, you had me because of that. So you guys got to look that up if you haven't heard.
I came here. I lived here for like 4 years. I lived in Detroit for 4 years on 9 Mile Southfield.
All right.
Yeah, John Mason was managing me at the time. The same time he was managing UNV.
Wow.
And
that
was trying to get, and I was the first. My act, E&J, was the first act signed to Don Barton's label. Don Barton used to have a record label.
See, I never even knew
Yeah,
that.
I know you didn't know that.
I call myself the Motor City Sis. I did not know that.
Yeah, Don Barton he had the cable company then, right?
Okay.
And then he wanted to branch off into music, and he started a record label called Barton Records. Shauna Bristol was handling the label. Johnny Bristol's daughter.
Okay. Yes.
Kiera.
Wow.
They were doing a lot of music over there, and it was producing E&J.
Okay.
So I had to come up here. I lived up here for 4 years. I did Belle Isle. Did the BET Fest at Belle Isle.
All right.
I did Rooster Tail. I did Nichols.
Nichols Lounge. I remember that.
Nichols.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I did Baker's.
All right.
Yeah.
So you done did all our staples.
I did a couple of things.
Okay, now tell us, if for those who don't know, you said you've been singing since you were 4. You knew you were going to be in music. How did it come about that you became a member of the OJs?
When I put this group together, I put a group together in Cleveland called the Deltones, and like I said earlier, we were we emulated the OJs, but we thought we were going to be the next group, just like how New Edition was the next Temptation of Jackson 5.
Right.
We thought we were going to be the next OJs.
Okay.
So that was who we wanted to be. At the time, our group became very, 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 very popular in Cleveland.
Okay.
I mean, we was probably as popular, or if not more popular, than the Daz Band.
Okay.
We would sell out everywhere. So Gerald Levert was starting a singing group. Gerald Levert used to be a solo artist when he was like 18, 17. But he wanted to emulate his dad, so Sean used to play drums,
right,
and Mark was playing keyboards. He brought them off of the instruments, and he put together a singing group.
Okay.
And Gerald, he wanted to be friends with me because he thought my group was to be the next one to come out.
Okay.
He thought we were going to be big stars. So Gerald, being smart like he was, he said, well, I'm going to be friends with the guy who I think about to make it.
Right.
And so we got so close that we became brothers. I mean, I used to spend the night over there, and then I used to eat up all the food, and because we didn't have food at sometimes, and so I'll just go over there like, okay, I don't have no food. I'm gonna go to Gerald's house and kick it with him, and if I can spend the night, I can eat good.
Right.
so
you know this.
Yeah. So me and Gerald, we had a brotherhood.
Okay.
When Sammy left the group, Gerald was telling his father about me then. He's like, I got this guy. I think he'd be perfect for the OJs. His father, at the time, they had a guy named Nate Best, and Nate Best was playing keyboards for Levert. Okay. They gave him a shot before they gave me a shot. Okay. They gave him a shot in '92, and the thing that Eddie and Walt didn't know was that I was such a fan of the OJs that I knew all their records anyway. So there wasn't much they had to teach me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I knew all the notes. I knew whatever I was supposed to do. I even knew what position I was supposed to play because in my group I was a lead singer. But I knew what Sammy did in the group, and I knew that, and that's go back to why I say honing your craft and knowing the history of the music. I knew the position that I'm supposed to play if I was to make it in the OJ. I knew I couldn't take Walt's place. I knew I couldn't take Eddie's place.
Right.
So I knew that basically I'm going to be the guy that has to do all the dancing, and I'm going to have to be the guy that know all the notes
Right.
Because when Walt comes out, I take Walt note. When Eddie come out, I take Eddie note. And when they both in, then I either got the top or the bottom.
Absolutely.
So you got to know how to do all of those things. And that goes back to honing your craft and knowing the music and knowing who does what. It didn't matter. If Delphonics would have called me, I would have knew all their music. Stylistics, I would have knew all their music. I mean, I would have knew anybody's music who would have called me.
Right.
Because I was just a student of it. So when we started rehearsing and they saw that, and I knew how to blend, I knew not to be louder than. I knew not. You got to know. You can't be louder than Eddie Levert. You don't do that. You don't try to be louder than Eddie. Now you can be a little louder than Walt, but you don't mess with Eddie. Because Eddie don't play that. He'll stop the music and be like, "What, my man? What are you doing?"
Right, like bring that
you
down.
bring that down a little bit. So I knew my position, and so once I started blending with those cats, they felt like I was a fit. But the only thing they didn't do is when I first got in the group, they didn't pay me like they paid the other boy. And they just didn't. They didn't want to take the chance. They didn't know how long I was gonna last. And then now I've been with them since '95, so it's been 20 years later.
Wow. That is, that's a phenomenal story. And that's why I wanted to make sure that we told it, so that people couldn't get it twisted. There's one thing about doing research on an artist. There's what you think what you hear in the world, and then what you might read, and then actually getting to talk to the artist so that you can get the real story.
Gerald Levert was a big influence on that. I mean, he stayed on his father about me.
Wow.
He really believed that I was the sure fit. His father had to be convinced, but Gerald already knew because he knew what I did with the other group, and he knew what my mentality was as far as music is concerned. Because we used to sit down and write music together all the time.
Wow.
So
how long did it take Walter and Eddie to realize? How long did it take them to realize that you were the real deal and they needed to go ahead and step up that path?
Sweetheart. It took them almost 5 years. They never even, for 4 years, they never even said I was in the OJs. They never announced me as being one of the members of the OJs. They just do the show, and they would say Eric Nolan Grant, and that's all they would say, and that was it. They would never say the newest member. They never said nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. But see, another thing, what they don't realize is that I was so broke. I was so poor. They don't have to even say my name. Just cut the check. Just cut the check. They don't have to never say my name. I'm good. You're not hurting my feelings or nothing. I mean, even when we first started touring, our first tour, they didn't. We got a valet that picks up all our uniforms and take our bags to our room, stuff like that. We kind of a little spoiled, you know what I mean? Okay. So they take our bags, but when I first got in the group, they didn't touch my bags.
Ooh, okay.
They didn't take my bags to the room. I took my own bags to the room. I had to wait till everybody got on the tour bus to select their own bunks before I can get my bunk.
Oh wow.
Again, what they don't know is that growing up the way I grew up, I grew up in a household where we had bunk beds. So it's 3 boys, so we had 3 bunk beds, and I always slept on the top. So nobody wanted the top bunk on a tour bus. Right. Well, that was right at home for me.
So you were fine.
I was fine. I was straight. I was like, oh, nobody got the top bunk. Then I'm in the top bunk to this day.
Wow.
So all the stuff that they thought that they were disciplining me with, it was cool with me because I come from zero.
Okay.
Zero. Nothing. Holes in my shoes. I put cardboard in my shoes. And I mean, and it's not to get the people to say, oh, it's not that. It's just that was the way of life, and I didn't know if it should be better or worse because I never saw suburban life or nothing like that. So being in the OJs, I was making $6. I was making, and when I first got in the OJs, we do 4 shows a night. My salary was $1,000 period. Wow. No matter how many shows I did. It was still just a flat $1,000. But they don't understand. That's $1,000 to me. For doing something I love to do. I love to sing. Right. And I'm with these 2 guys. Right. 2 legends. Right. And they're gonna give me $1,000. And that's all. So I was good. I'm cool. I'm really good. So
Now, was there a hard, when it came time for you to venture into your solo career, you know, was it hard for you to make the transition into that and kind of like, you know, brand yourself outside of the OJs? How did you, you know, what was your thought process in moving into that?
No, it wasn't that hard because I'm a thinker. I'm very analytical. So what I did was I understood that, you know, I'm not tatted up. I don't have a six pack. I ain't young. You know what I mean? So I knew I wasn't gonna be doing those Chris Brown type music. You know what I mean?
Right.
And by the time I do gospel, I want to be all the way there. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to flirt with that.
Sure.
But I did know that with blues and with jazz, it has no age.
Right.
It just has good music. You know, they don't have an age. And when I heard Will Downing, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I knew right then when I heard Will, I was like, that's the kind of music I want to do. And then when I started doing it and started writing music like that, Kim hadn't even came out yet. I used to watch Kim down at Floods. When I used to come here, I used to go down to Floods and watch him.
Yep.
And he hadn't even came out yet. And when his first single came out and I saw him do what he was doing, I said, he got it. That's what I wanted to do. The live band, the live music, just, you know, and the sultry music where the temper just stays right here and people just gravitate to it. I just wanted that, you know what I mean? And he was always safe.
Yeah.
I'm a tad bit edgier.
Okay.
But that's on purpose because he's doing what I wanted to do at first.
Right.
So I delivered. So me thinking again, I said, well, I'm just a tad bit edgier, and I'm gonna speak from the streets than as opposed to I'm gonna speak from the streets, heart streets, than opposed to just the heart.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna say what I hear guys saying, but they don't never say it to the woman. They always say it. I don't know why guys say it to the guys. How they feel about their woman, but they don't tell the woman.
I hear you. You
know what I mean? So
you guys hear him? You understand where he's coming from with that? Do you agree?
So I'm saying. So I'm gonna start saying the stuff that they want to say.
Okay.
So that's why I say, you know, because I remember dude, he coming to the locker room. He's like, man, my woman's the best thing ever happened to me.
Did you tell
her? Oh no, man, I ain't soft. Oh man.
Might not be soft, but you'll be lonely if she doesn't know.
I just write about it. I just say you're the best thing ever happened to me. I miss you. Did you miss me? You know, I say those kind of things.
Or like the hook in his song, everything that's happening that's good reminds me of you.
Yes. I wrote that in the mall. Me and my partner Jay Sean, we wrote that in the mall. I was walking in the mall and I saw a dress I wanted to buy my girl. Mm-hmm. And I knew it was perfect for her.
Okay.
And then I walked down a little bit further and I saw some Jelly Bellies. And I know she loved Jelly Bellies. And then this was this movie she always wanted to see. And I saw the movie.
Okay.
And in that succession, I said, I called him, I said, man, everything in here, man, remind me of. He said, Unc, that's a hit. That's a good hook.
It is.
We need to write that. And I said, okay. And we wrote it and then we just put scenarios in there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because everything reminds me of her. I mean, everybody had that. Everybody's done that. I know they have. Because, you know, you just one of those days where you see them and you say, dang, that just remind me of my dude or remind me of my girl. So.
Okay. Oh, man. I'm enjoying sitting here talking to you. I'm learning. I'm taking it all in. So now, okay, we talked about what's missing in music and, you know, where there's good, there's always better. What I want to say is who is in your playlist? Who do you listen to now in the current day? Are you still just rocking the old school or are there some new artists?
You know, I have to tell you. I mean, yeah, because I mean, I'm still listening to Walter Beasley, Will Downing. Mm-hmm. I listen to Kim. I listen to Eric Benet. These last couple of things Eric Benet has done has been pretty good. Mm-hmm. Calvin Richardson. Mm-hmm. You know, when one of the R&B cats come out with something cool, I'll listen to it. You know, like when Beyonce did Love on Top, that was like one of my favorites. You know what I mean? when Bruno Mars did his Uptown Funk, that was like one of my favorites. You know what I mean? So, I mean, and this Aria, whatever her name is, Grande, whatever.
Yeah, Grande.
The duet she did with the other cat, that was one of my. Oh man, I mean, so it varies, but I don't saturate myself with that.
Right.
I listen to a lot of commission.
Okay.
I listen to a lot of whinings.
Yeah.
Trust me, I do. Trust me, I do. Okay. I did a whining song on my CD.
Okay.
I did When You Cry.
Oh, wow. Now,
Yeah.
see,
I talked to Carvin when I got ready to do it.
Wow.
I talked to him. I asked him, could I do it? He told me I could do it, so I did it.
Man, and probably well, I'm sure. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up.
It could be a tearjerker every now and then. But I listen to a lot of I listen to a lot of jazz and a lot of contemporary jazz only because that's what I'm trying to do.
Yes.
So if I listen to it and I pound my head with that music, subliminally, I will grab some of the stuff that's happening there because I'm not a true jazz singer.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not true to the game like you know, like the people that do jazz they eat, sleep, and drink jazz.
Sure.
Well, I'm a newbie.
Mm-hmm.
So since I'm a newbie, I just want to pound myself with just that music.
Okay.
So when I'm listening to the radio or I'm listening to music, I just listen to contemporary jazz.
So without getting too much in your business, what do you have coming up next, or where can we, keep up with you and find you next?
I'm trying to do some stuff. We're working on doing some opening acts for Avery Sunshine.
Okay.
And Will just reached out to me Thursday, and we're gonna start doing some opening dates with Will Downing.
Okay.
And I'm repackaging Mood Swing because I just landed a distribution deal. So
congratulations.
they thank you. And they didn't want to go and grab Mood Swing that's already been out.
Okay.
And put it, with their distribution. So they want me to repackage it. And it's probably going to be another name. And it's going to probably have 5 new songs on there.
Okay.
And I'm really giving y'all the real.
So you know what I mean?
So whoever. Oh, I'm in there now.
Oh, right.
I'm in there now. When I leave, we got a show tonight in Detroit. When I leave Detroit, Tuesday, I'll be in the studio.
Okay.
I don't stop. I built me a studio.
I hear that.
I had to. I built me a studio I got me a room a little bit smaller than half of this room, and I gutted it. And I built it, and I put everything that's needed to be in there, and that's where I cut Mood Swing at.
Well, I have to tell you that the next time you're in town, you get some time, you have to come to my studio. You have to come to the 7 Mile Radio studio.
I'll do that. I don't
have
to get no time. I'll just come.
Well, you
tell me when to come. I'll come.
You let me know when you here. It's always open. We can go live anytime you want to.
Yeah,
I'm open for
that. I don't mind.
So y'all hear that, right? Y'all
this
see?
This is what I do, sweetheart. This is where I'm most comfortable.
That's great.
I'm most comfortable doing this. I'm most comfortable being around my people, and I don't mean to say it like I'm around, people in the clubs, and I'm just comfortable. This is my thing.
Well, I have to tell you, you make it very easy to sit here and interview you and talk to you and be open. Thank you so much.
When somebody say that to you, when I noticed this, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you a trick. When a person, when they tell you that you make it real easy to talk to, that means you talk too much.
No. Sometimes people make it hard, trying to pull. It's like talking.
That means you talking too much.
No, never that. But I do have another question for people who are looking to embark on a career and they want to not necessarily stay true to the template. The predetermined template of what's called R&B soul music now, but they really want to stay true to their craft. What would be your words of advice? How not to get sucked in, to fit a template that maybe a company feel work.
I've always been a fan of originality, but I'm not a fan of just going totally left. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of when people come to me and say, man, I got my own style. Well, that's a style that nobody gets.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can't have a style that nobody gets and just call it your own style. Well, like it's my own style. No, you got to kind of You got to straddle the fence a little bit, and you kind of like give them a little bit of something that they have heard before,
right?
To get to what you're trying to do.
Absolutely, yeah. And you got to bring them in slow.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, even when guys talk to women, you don't give them everything off the rip. You kind of like, you do the cardinal sin is to start opening doors for a woman that you're not going to open doors for in about 3 weeks. So you should never start that.
Right. If you don't plan to keep it up.
You ain't gonna keep it up. Mm-hmm. So with the music, I'm just such a stickler on the history of it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to dig deep. You got to know. I guarantee you, if you go around the 60s and the 50s and the 70s, you're gonna be like, wow.
Yeah.
Because a lot of stuff you hear today, you didn't know that it was already recorded.
Absolutely.
You don't even know. You think it's new.
Right.
You think somebody made that beat.
Well, you know what? Before we go, I know that they're saying we have to go. I'm just playing. I do have a question in reference to this latest debate with with the whole scene of sampling music, as opposed to maybe stealing, in reference to Marvin Gaye got to get it up, and then the Robin Thicke thing, and I think now the lines are somewhat blurred, no pun intended. The lines are blurred as to whether or not what is considered copying or stealing music as opposed to paying homage to something you respect, and you know what I'm saying,
and you want to know my take on it.
Yes, I do.
My take on it is this: there is nothing new under the sun in music that don't sound like something else. Nothing.
Thank you.
Nothing. Music is universal.
Absolutely.
There's somebody that's cutting. There's somebody right now somewhere else that's cutting a song sound like this song, and it has nothing to do with stealing. Nobody stole anything. Right. It's just that the music is so universal, and it's only so many chords you can play in music.
Absolutely.
There's only so many. I mean, and for somebody to say, oh, you copy that off of this person or that person, it's called influence.
Mm-hmm. And that's the difference.
That's the difference.
Infringement versus influence.
Yes, it's influence. I mean, how many people have been influenced by Marvin? How many people have been influenced by James Brown? Prince was influenced by James Brown.
Right.
I mean, how many people were that Michael influenced, let alone Michael been influenced by?
Right.
You know what I mean? And he stole. Nobody was talking about stealing then.
Mm-hmm.
They was talking about, oh, that's Michael.
Right.
That's Michael, and you see him. He paying homage to James Brown.
Right.
But it's a blatant rape. So it's nothing new under the sun when it comes to music. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the whole infringement thing. I mean, people, you feel a groove, and you know what you do. You go in there and you say, man, give me a groove like James Brown.
Mm-hmm. Or reminiscent of that. What I mean?
You say it. You say, give me a groove like James Brown. Or you'll say, give me a groove like Parliament. Right. Give me a groove like the funk. Give me that funkadelic sound.
Right.
And when you say that, the musicians know what kind of sound you trying to get.
Exactly. And they give it to you.
And they give it to you.
Right.
And so now what you do, the only way you can get on that track is you have to do it like how the Parliament Funkadelics would do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way you can get on that track. You can't get on that track and the beat is going, ding, 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 ding. You can't go, oh, say, yeah. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do it in the pocket, just like how George Clinton would have done it.
Okay.
So they're gonna call it stealing? No, it's not. I'm not a big fan of it.
Okay.
I don't agree with it. I think when you got bills to pay and and you didn't get nothing from the estate, I think you do what you feel like you have to do.
Well,
yeah.
I hear that.
Put that on tape.
Did you hear that? Right. Did you hear that? So I just want to say, Mr. Nolan, it was a pleasure meeting you.
No, it's my pleasure. Pleasure.
Well, thank you so much for
I didn't even know you.
Down.
I just knew you wouldn't talk to me, so I didn't know who you was.
That's why, you were talking. I want to just walk up and invade. So, I said, well, we get together.
But I appreciate this, man.
But
this is cool.
So now you're considered not only 7 Mile Radio family, but B-Side family in Detroit. So I would love to have you in the studio whenever you have some free time.
Anytime.
Thank you so much, man. Let people know where they can copy music and follow you and get information about you. Website, contact information.
Okay. Did you say copy music?
No. Cop, meaning get it.
Is that what cop mean?
Yes.
I know. You know I know, right?
Support you. We'll do it that way. Where we can support you legally.
I do know. I
know you do.
But you can cop my music at Amazon.com and iTunes.com. I have a website, boywonderrecords.net. That's my label. I have my own record label.
Yeah.
And that was the only way I was going to get signed. I had to sign myself. So I started my own label. That's right. And I have a Instagram. I am Eric Nolan. I have a Facebook music page, which is Eric Nolan. And I think I got a Twitter. I think it's Eric Nolan Grant. My daughter made that for me, so I'm not
okay.
So I got a Twitter though. I think it's Eric Nolan Grant, and I enjoy myself, man. This is just so cool for me. You know what I mean? I wish I could do just more of these, and just sit with people and just chit chat. You know what I mean? Well, without people doing this. I just want to do it without that. Can I do it without that? I can't. Okay, babe.
Next time, unlimited time.
No, we good. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Right. I'm good. I'm having a good time, man. This is cool.
Well, I just want to thank you so much again. Until you continue success,
Thank
when
you.
you got the repackaging and those new 5 songs,
You got it.
get them to me.
I promise.
Thank you so much.
All right.
T. Elise with Eric Nolan here for 7 Mile Radio. Stay live.
Warning. You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.